Hi, welcome to Mixmag TV's production tips with me, Paul Nolan. In this regular series of tutorials, I'll be showing you how to make the sounds from some of the biggest dance music records around. In this first tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make the synth stab from Sasha's huge remix of Hot Chip Flutes. In this tutorial, I'll be using Leonard Digital Silent 1 in Logic Pro 9. But any subtractive synthesizer in any DAW will do largely the same job. So let's have a listen to the record and see what it sounds like. Okay, now we've heard the synth stab, let's get into Logic and let's see how it's made. Okay, so now we're in Logic Pro 9 and I've got a blank session open here with a software instrument channel with Silent 1 as its input. I'll go to Menu, click Init Preset, and that will blank the whole synth and make it sound like this. Okay. So basically, to get this kind of old school Detroit sounding stab that Sasha's used in the remix, I have to play first of all the right note on the keyboard, which in this case is A#2 on the keyboard. Okay, that's really important to get the right note because that gets you closer to the sound overall. We're going to start by shaping this first oscillator by changing the phase to about 10 o'clock. The detune to about 9, put the voices to 3, and then make sure that the wave here is this shape, which is a sawtooth wave. I'm going to click on the little C button here and then paste across the other oscillators in part B as well as part A, which will now make it sound like this. So fatter, bigger sounding, bit more old school, but still not really right. So how do we get the right kind of sound? So the stab is quite short sounding, so this is how we would go about getting that short stabby sound. I'm going to push the sustain down all the way down here on amp Env A, push the decay and the release up as so, copy it, go to part B, paste it. Now it'll sound like this. So it has a much more plucky kind of sound to it, but still not quite there because it needs to have a bit more depth to the sound, and this is how we'll get it. We're going to change the pitch of oscillator A1 down 1 octave or 12 keys on the keyboard and push it up 7. Oscillator A2 I'm going to push to 3 notes, and then part B, drop this by 1 octave here on B1, leave B2 as is, and it'll sound more like this. Now we're starting to get there, but again it needs a bit more of a rounder tone, a bit more weight to it. So how do we get that? Well, we start to use the filters. So in filter A here, I'm going to select the low pass filter, which will allow you to keep the bass whilst cutting off all of the higher frequencies to add that roundness. So a little bit of a tweak here on the cutoff and on the resonance here, and a little bit of drive just to add a bit of grit. In part B, I'm going to change this input select to A and B, so both of them go through the filter, as in both oscillator B1 and B2. Change that to 12 to give a bit of a smoother sound, and again select the low pass. In this case, I'm going to drop it to around about 10-1030. Resonance to about the same, drive to about the same, and it'll sound like this now. Really starting to get there now, but a little bit dull in comparison to where we were before in the remix. So we need to bring out that little plucky top end without losing the bottom end that we've just created using the filter. So how do we do this? How do we get this balance? Well, we use the mod envs to control the filters cut off here and also on filter B and on filter A to bring that top end out and really make it cut through. So I'm going to select cut off AB here, push the amount of control that I'm going to give to it to about 2, maybe 2.3, push the decay, push the release, and now we'll get this kind of sound. Getting there, but still not quite. So I'm going to drop the filter control down now to about 10 o'clock. Again, 8 o'clock for the resonance. Click the warm drive up, which will give us this warm, nice, analog type old school sound, and push the key track up. Now if I push the key track up here, this will make the sounds on the keyboard brighter the further up in pitch I play. So if I play this now, you can start to hear it really come to life. So mod env 2, I'm going to copy mod env 1, put it on 2, assign it to cut off A, and then below it assign it to cut off B as well. Little changes here. Basically that'll add a little bit of variation to the sound. And you can hear that pluckiness come out even more now. So I want to try and just add a little bit of change to the pitch a little bit, just to give it a bit more of a human feel. I'm going to go to pitch of A and B here on LFO1. Very, very small amount, as you can see here, 0.29 on the amount there. Change the rate to about here, 1.8, and then push the gain to about 9 o'clock. And let's have a listen to it now. Okay, that might be a little bit much, so we can drop that down a little bit. And what you'll find is that it's all about the small adjustments. That's about right. So now we can really elaborate on the sound by adding EQ, delay, reverb, and some compression. So I'll start off with some reverb, dampen a little bit so it doesn't get too overwhelming, turn the size down a little bit, and now you can really start to hear it come to life. Add a bit of delay, again not too much. The low cut will just take some of the bass out of the delay, the high cut a little bit of the top end. Change the delay down so it's on 1.8, so it fades nice and quick. Turn the spread up. Now let's have a little listen to this. So now it's got a nice tail that really, decays nicely. Add a little bit of compression. I'm going to push this up to 9, so that's quite hard. Push the threshold up a little bit here, and now let's have a listen to it. Now that's evened out any volume kinks in the sound and really gives it a nice even tone. Okay, so a little bit of EQ to finish off. Click this on, take the treble, push it up quite a bit, go to about 1500, and that'll just really give you that nice clicky sound at the top. So you've just highlighted those frequencies there in that range of about 1500 Hertz and give it a nice little push, which again will give it that nice final clicky sort of plucky sound that we're after. Okay, now you've recreated the synth stab from Sasha's remix of Hot Chip Flutes, you can now go on and utilise that sound or similar ones in your own productions. In the next tutorial, we'll be looking at another big dance record and how it was made. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.